We've got some weird shadows going on here, but then it is November after all. Welcome to Netgalley Nonfiction November TBR. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week and then movie reviews here at the weekend. In the description box below you will find all of my social links, including my blog and my Goodreads, where you can look for reviews of the books that I'm talking about today. Yes, it's November. I always get excited about the reading month of November. I used to get excited because I did NaNoWriMo, then I was like, no, I'm more into reading than I am writing. So I like doing a Netgalley November challenge, but I also love doing non-fiction November, and I just enjoy having an excuse to read some of the non-fiction books that are on my TBR. There is one November release that I am very excited about, however, so let me tell you about that one first, because I will be reading this one as soon as I get my hands on it, and I am going to a signing event, and so therefore I will be getting my hands on it as soon as possible. And this is The Christmas Wish by Lindsey Kelk. This one comes out in the UK on the 10th of November, but Lindsey is doing signings from the 6th of November. From Sunday the 6th of November, she starts off in Meadowhall doing a signing at the Waterstones there, and then a Birmingham event on the Monday the 7th of November. I'm not sure which of those two I'm going to, but I'm going to one of those two, so I'll see you there. And yes, I'm just so excited. I have no idea what it's about. Will a little Christmas magic mend a broken heart? I've heard stories about a possible Groundhog Day type of situation going on, but it's called A Christmas Wish and it's by Lindsey Kelk, so you know I'm going to be reading this one as soon as possible. Oh, can you imagine if I went to signing on the Sunday and then got a chance to read the book the rest of the Sunday? How amazing would that Sunday be? So yes, so we have one book that covers both non-fiction and Netgalley, and it's been on my TBR for many million months now. And that is Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls, 100 Inspiring Changemakers. Yes, I have not read this one yet. I've been waiting for an opportunity to read it with my class, and I think that opportunity is going to come up this month because we're talking biographies a little bit here, and so we can look at some of these and use those to help inspire us write our own celebrity biographies. But yes, it's non-fiction. It's going to be amazing, and I apologise that this has been on every TBR for many moons. Gosh, we've gone very orange now. Yes, literally, it's been on every TBR since August, or maybe even July. I thought we'd read it this summer, and I just did not. Speaking of things that have been on my TBR, this one will come as no surprise because it has been on my TBR previously. Where is it? Here it is. This one I have a Netgalley audiobook review copy of, and again, I've been meaning to get to it. It was released and I just didn't get to it when it was released, and so Netgalley and the fact that we're in the run up to Christmas now will make me read A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. Again, I don't know an awful lot about this one, but look at that cover. Isn't it glorious? Have the whole thing. Oh, let's really mess with my balance. Oh yeah. Oh, yes, I have a Netgalley audiobook copy of this one, and so I'm very excited to read it. Speaking of things I also have an audiobook Netgalley copy of, but I also have a physical arc of These Are the Words by Nikita Gill, which is Nikita Gill poetry, and just look at that iridescentness, look at the spine as well. So this is an arc copy and it came out in August, but it is poetry and I needed to find my tabs before I could start reading it, so I have an audio review copy of it. So it's Netgalley, but then it's also that I've had it on my shelf and I love Nikita Gill, and squeezing in some poetry is just ultimate pleasure. The trouble with picking this one up is I'm then going to want to read all the other unread poetry that's on my shelf behind these books right here. I have all my poetry books, and I have some unread books and some books that I got when I was over in America again, and yes, I know I'm going to want to read more poetry once I start reading this one, but it's a Netgalley review copy that I have a physical copy of, so I can tab it up, or I can listen to the Netgalley audio copy of it, which, I mean, I will do anyway. But a manifesto to protect my plus-size friends, that sounds like me right there. So yes, so there's a fourth one for you there, fourth book on my TBR. Then back to a couple of Netgalley only books. Now, you may remember last month I popped, now I think I showed you the wrong one, so I have Losing Hope by Colleen Hoover on my Netgalley shelf that I've had on my Netgalley shelf since it was released. We're talking, you know, this is the historical Netgalley shelf that you just get past the point of like, I can't even go back there and read this because it's been so long now. But I need to read Hopeless first so that I can then read this one. And I have the audiobook of both of them. And then I have the follow-up book somewhere in the annals behind me somewhere as well. One of the little like novellas that I got sent to review as well, that I have in paperback, and so I would really like to get to Hopeless so I can then get to Losing Hope, because that will be part of Netgalley November for me. So I know again it was on a previous TBR, but we're coming back to that one. And then a couple that again have been on my Netgalley shelf since they came out that I've been very bad and haven't read. So first of all, we have one by big friend of the channel. We have Beyond Grace's Rainbow by Carmel Harrington. Now this one has only just come out on audiobook, so I had the ebook copy of this one. It's been out in paperback, but the audiobook of this one was only released in 2022, and so I have the audio copy of it and I would really like to read it. I've heard it's really sad though, so it's kind of like that's why I've been putting off reading it since I had it from its release date on my Netgalley shelf. But now I've got an audiobook of it, I've got no excuse. So this one's on here. However, there's another Carmel Harrington that I have on my Netgalley shelf that is festive, and so I feel like I might want to read this one either after having read Beyond Grace's Rainbow or instead of reading Beyond Grace's Rainbow, because it is festive. So I don't know whether to put this on my Netgalley November TBR or save it for my December TBR. Let me know in the comments what you think. This is Every Time a Bell Rings by Carmel Harrington, which is a bit of a It's a Wonderful Life retelling. It's a Wonderful Life, such a great Christmas movie. It's my husband's favourite Christmas movie. I'm really excited to read it, but I don't know whether it's sensible to put it on my Netgalley November because I don't have an awful lot of time for reading the actual ebooks in the month of November, just because I know what a busy month November is in school. So it's on there as like I might get to this one, I might get to choose this one, a bit like Losing Hope and Hopeless, and yeah, once I start I might not be able to stop. And then just a couple more for you. Again, I have these on audiobook. I've got them lined up on audiobook, ready to go so that I can try and get to them. And this is Not Without You by Harriet Evans, which I do... Wow, that's really bright, isn't it? I do really... Let me just turn down the brightness on that one. I do really want to read... Maybe we need to turn up the brightness on it. Yeah, I do really want to read because I love a Harriet Evans book, and once I sort of go into a binge with her books again, I get really taken away. But again, it's quite a long audiobook, but it could be nice for, you know, if I do drive up to Meadowhall on Sunday the 6th of November, maybe I'll pop that one on and listen to it on the way there and on the way back. Who knows? And then speaking of other books that, again, I have read other things by this author, and I'm quite excited to read this one by this author. This one is Strictly Between Us by Jane Fallon, and like the covers that I'm showing you, these covers have changed since these books came out. So these covers that are on my Netgalley shelf are no longer the covers of these books anymore, and that just shows you how long they've been there. I love this cover, but the audiobook version I have of this one has like a person in like historical dress. It looks very different, but Rumours, Secrets and Lies, It's All in a Day's Work. But I just love the lipstick on the coffee cup there, because there's always lipstick on my coffee cup. So there we have the Netgalley books. I've already talked to you about one non-fiction book that I want to read, but a couple that I have on hold from the library, which either have just come out or are coming out as you're watching this video. They've just come out. So firstly, we have Madly Deeply, the Alan Rickman Diaries, and these were, there's a foreword by Emma Thompson, and Emma Thompson was sort of instrumental in bringing this book together. Oh, again, we've gone very dark here. Let's take a step back, or not, as the case may be, there you go, have some Alan Rickman instead. But yeah, she was instrumental in bringing this book together. I loved Alan Rickman, love, just... And so I'm very interested in reading this one. So I have it on hold from the library, but I may just go ahead and take the plunge and buy it from Audible because I'm really excited about reading this one. And when I saw that it was coming out in October, I was like, perfect, we're saving that for Nonfiction November. Speaking of things which are perfect for Nonfiction November, we also have Matthew Perry's book, which has caused a lot of stir. He's been doing interviews about this one, and apparently, wow, it's really not happy with this low light. Welcome to November. Welcome to like proper deep dark autumn. It's Friends, Lovers and the Big Terrible Thing, and it's his memoir, and the foreword for this one is by Lisa Kudrow. So again, I have the audiobook on hold, but I may just take the plunge and buy this one, and then just sort of lightening it up somewhat. I don't know if we can lighten it up anymore. Again, so I've got some to choose from. I have The Audacity by Katherine Ryan, and this is just another celebrity memoir, as I list on there, but I find her quite funny when she's on panels and things, and so I was intrigued to read her book because I found when I'm like vaguely aware of someone and then I pick up their book, and then I'm like, oh yeah, no, I can see why I enjoy their humour, or I can see where they're coming from. It's always interesting to hear their stories, even if I'm not like a super fan of who they are. And previous Nonfiction Novembers have sort of taken me down a rabbit hole of some interesting memoirs and some interesting non-fiction books that I wouldn't have come across otherwise. And then finally, one more celebrity memoir of someone I haven't really heard of, but someone that is causing a stir. And I've just heard that this book is really well written and really well put together, and so I do again have the audiobook of this one ready to rock and roll. And this one is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, and she was known for being on Nickelodeon, and this one just sounds really interesting, and I've been aware of it, and it's been like in the bestseller lists, and she's been interviewed everywhere. I've seen her on TikTok and interviews with her on YouTube and things like that, and so I'm very intrigued to read this one. And I have it lined up and ready to go. I'm not waiting for it from my library or considering whether I'm going to buy it from Audible. So there we have it. I'm very excited about 9 November TBR. I get very excited for this non-fiction Netgalley mashup thing that I do. I've previously really loved doing non-fiction November, and then when I built in some Netgalley November into it as well, because traditionally there's not a load of things coming out now between now and the end of the year, so in terms of getting to my Netgalley backlog, it's a really good time to check in and do that. I'm also obviously very excited about a new Lindsey Kelk book, and if you're going to any of the signings, please do let me know. I would have loved to have gone to the London one. I mean, I would have loved to have gone to them all because she's got amazing people with her as well, but I'm really torn between which ones to go to, if at all, if I'll be still able to function on Monday after work to go to the Birmingham one. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to read the book either way. And do let me know if you are doing either Netgalley or Nonfiction November, or if you are also excited to read Lindsey Kelk's new book. Let me know if I'll be seeing you if I go to either of those signings or events. And yes, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on my October wrap up, which is coming your way next after this video. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on my movie review coming your way at the weekend. How I still have time to read books in between all the movie watching as well, I have no idea. But yes, if you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, and I will see you with my next video. Thanks for watching.